And more drop points then from Manchester City as it finishes one apiece. What does their manager have to say?
First half was brilliant. The first 10-15 minutes until the penalty was really good. The first time they arrived, they scored a goal at the end. Of course, in the transition, we could suffer the defeat. But we analyze the result. Of course, we are not happy. But the performance that we have done, the guys again, with the situation they were brilliant. Of course, we don't score the goals that we need. But no, I'm not. There are other days like I'm more because I don't see many things I like the way they play. But today was not the case.
So then, Manchester City have only won one of their last 13 matches, only scoring 15 goals during that time, conceding 28. Don's with us. I don't even know where to go with this anymore, Don.
I know. Stevie nailed it a couple of days back when he got asked prediction. I mean, I said 1-0 City because I thought they'd scrape over the line, and Stevie was talking about the Leicester when they won the league, and it was like, yeah, they'll get beat one week. They'll get beat. Well, now we're saying with City, surely they've got to beat Everton at home. No disrespect to the job that Sean Dyche is doing, where he's taking loads of points and he's getting loads of draws, and they're going to be okay because they're hard to beat. But you just expect them at some point. I actually thought for 25, 30 minutes of the game, I actually thought they played quite well. I thought they looked okay. I think Pep's probably alluding to, it wasn't like they're scintillating best. They weren't like easy on the eye and flowing or anything. But I think Pep's more sort of delving into the sort of psychology of it, where they didn't crumble, they didn't look nervy, they played good football. Bernardo Silva had a nice little skill with the outside the left foot that he couldn't score. If that goes in the top corner, we would have seen it or might have seen a different City. But then you just know when it's 1-0, they're going to give you a chance. And Ndiaye takes his goal really well. He hits it with the laces and finishes it into the top corner. And you're just sitting there going, well, I don't know why we're doubting anyone that's playing Man City anymore, because our eyes are not lying. But the quality that they've got, at some point they've got to turn it around. But I don't think they're going to do it unless they get new signings through the door. He's going to have to make signings in January, and he's probably going to have to make 2 or 3.
We played really good, but we're in the period right now that this is what happens. We create, we concede the first time they attack us. The team played really well, again, in all departments.
I'm not quite sure where he gets it from. I mean, they had 5 shots on target, right? One was the goal that wasn't a shot.
Yep.
So we're down to 4.
Yep.
The other one was a free shot that was a penalty. So they've basically had 3 shots on goal in 90 minutes against a team whose only goal is to avoid being relegated. And he thinks that they're playing well. I don't know where he gets it from. I really don't.
Explain Erling Haaland to me, Don.
Well, I've tried to back him, and I still back him. I mean, obviously, I can't when he misses a penalty, but there's been better players in world football that have missed pens, and there'll be a million players who are going to miss pens in the future, but he doesn't get any service. I mean, even when he hits 52 goals down, we say here, oh, he's only had 5 touches in the first half. Second half, he's only had 5 or 6. So he's never blessed with like a guy that gets a million touches of the ball in and around the pitch to boost his confidence. He's just there solely to finish the chances off. And who's providing the chances for him? Who's actually slipping him in and putting him through 1v1? That was De Bruyne's forte. That was Phil Foden's forte. That was maybe Doku or Grealish from a wider area, or Bernardo Silva. No one really gives him 3 big chances in a game. And then you limit him to a penalty. And yes, he should score and they should have won the game, but they didn't. And anyone can miss it. But go back to the Julian Alvarez sale for 90 million quid. Why would you just leave yourself with 1 centre forward? Look how many goals he's banging in La Liga. So I think they just massively took their eyes off the ball, thinking because they've won 4 in the spin, Pep trusts his players, he's loyal, he's not going to make any changes, and it's all caught up to them unbelievably quick. And now all of a sudden, January in the summer, they need a massive overhaul. And I'm talking like 6 or 7 in.
Everyone's touch just looks off, Stevie. Look, you look at Phil Foden today, compare him to last season, and it's like his brother's playing. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a disease. You know, once it starts, everybody catches it. And there's not one player on that list.
Nope.
I mean, look at the goal. I mean, look at the defending from Akanji.
Yeah.
This is a guy that most of us would have taken in our team, what, 6 months ago? I mean, it's just absolute schoolboy defending. But again, go around the team, every single one of them is struggling, and that includes Haaland, because the penalty kick he took was nowhere near the corner.
So here's the thing. What's your number one priority? Pep says, look, we need players. I know that. We're going to go for players in January. What is your number one priority for Manchester City?
I think if they stiffen up in the middle of the park.
OK, you get someone who can run.
If you stiffen up in the middle of the park, what you do is you give your defenders less to do.
Right.
Which means you don't concede goals. And then you can go forward from there. You know, when you're making runs, you know, Guardiola's a good example. When Guardiola previously was making runs forward, he had a free mind. He was thinking, how am I going to score? I can maybe get on the end of this. Do I run inside? Do I run out? Now, he's thinking, do I go and leave a hole or do I not go? So, yeah, and again, as a player, when you start thinking that way, you end up in no man's land because you don't do one or the other. You don't do the defensive side and you don't get yourself forward where previously you're thinking about scoring and you end up in the middle doing nothing.
So it's easy to say, right, OK, I need someone who's going to come in and cover that back four, someone who's going to come in and kind of take that Rodri place because you know he's out.
Right.
But if you're a player of that quality, how much are you looking at what's going on at Manchester City at the moment, on the pitch and off the pitch, and thinking, really?
Well, you've got to look at this in terms of this is a problem that they've had over a short period of time. This is not a Man United situation.
Right, the personnel still...
Absolutely. The only thing we know is that Manchester City are going to be back competing for the Premier League title either next year or 100% the following year.
If they haven't been relegated.
Look at all these players that joined Liverpool under Klopp when they were 6th, 7th and 8th in the Premier League, not looking as though they were going to win the Premier League. Hadn't won it for 30 years. You could have said that back then. Why would Mane or Salah or anybody else go there? Van Dijk, why would he go there? Why would Alisson go there? Man City, this is a short-term problem that will be fixed. And so for a proper player, they're not going to be looking at Man City as a destination not to go to. Absolutely not.